Hey guys, so I get questions about where I did my training and what kind of training I went through a lot, so I thought I'd answer that using this question. So as a psychiatrist, I am a medical doctor who is specialty trained in psychiatry. So for that, we do a bachelor's degree before medical school, so everybody's required to get their bachelor's. I did mine at the University of Maryland at College Park, and then we do our 4 years of medical school, whether that's through your MD program or your DO program, and I did that at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, also my state school for med school. And then psychiatry residency is typically 4 years. I did that at Johns Hopkins, and that was a wonderful place to train. And then we can go on to get certified by the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology. That typically happens in the year after you finish residency and is renewed every 10 years. So it's a big test that you have to study for. Hey guys, so this is another really good question that I'm getting a lot, not just from social media, but from my patients and my family and my friends. It's something that I'm also trying to sort out for myself because this is a weird and crazy time right now. So if you are struggling with worsening of mental health symptoms like depression or anxiety or OCD during this time or any others, you are not alone. I am going to link a podcast below that I did that was targeted more at healthcare professionals, but has some definite advice for the general public. You can also check out my YouTube. I have some advice there. And then I would also say standard advice like don't give up your social connections. Just because we're socially distant does not mean that we are not connecting with each other. So do so over social media, do so over virtual means. Also get some exercise in the day if you can. Try and do something you enjoy every day, and reach out, get a therapist if you don't have one already. They're all doing telehealth. Another excellent question, and another question that I get quite often. So can my poor sleep be causing my anxiety? The answer is yes, it's certainly possible. It's also possible that the opposite is true and that your anxiety is causing your poor sleep. A third possibility is also in the mix. So it's possible that something is causing both the anxiety and the poor sleep. So what to do about this? Well, it's something that you definitely want to make sure to get addressed by your doctor. Your doctor can help you narrow down the exact cause of your poor sleep and anxiety, and can also help you figure out best ways to treat it. If you don't have a psychiatrist, it's totally fine to start with your primary care doctor, pediatrician. They can definitely be really helpful, and your therapist as well if you have a therapist. If you want more info on insomnia and panic attacks, definitely check out my YouTube. I have a couple videos on both of them, and keep sending awesome questions. Drop them below. Hey guys, this is a great question, and I get this a lot, not just during quarantine time. So I wanted to let you guys know that, first of all, most of this is information in the US, so I apologize if you're not in the US, this probably isn't going to be quite as helpful. But in the US, there are a couple of different sites that you can search to find either a psychiatrist or a therapist. So through the APA, you can search To Write Love on Her Arms, which has low cost care options. And you could also look at psychologytoday.com. Talking to friends who see a mental health professional, they're also a good resource, or your primary care doctor, pediatrician, OBGYN, they can also all point you in the right direction. I've done a couple of TikToks too on ways to get affordable care or low cost or no cost care, and ways to actually find help during a crisis. So check those out if you haven't already, and I'll drop links below. What's up guys, Dr. Shepard here, and I am hanging out outside, so I'm going to try and answer as many of your wonderful questions as I can. This is an excellent question, and sometimes parsing out the difference between bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder can actually be really difficult, and clinicians even struggle with this sometimes. And remember, people can actually have both of these disorders at the same time. Having one puts you at higher risk for having the other. They often get confused because both can be characterized by irritability and mood swings, but there are a few key differences. In people with borderline personality disorder, the mood swings are typically fairly quick, so they might last hours to maybe days at maximum. That is, unless there's another overlying mood disorder. In contrast, mood swings with bipolar disorder typically last more like days to weeks. In order to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, you also have to have manias, so you have to have changes in sleep and energy that come on episodically as well. All right, guys, so let's talk some more about bipolar disorder. So bipolar disorder is a disorder that affects not just your mood, but also your energy, your thinking, your concentration, really kind of everything. It can range from being relatively mild to being something that can be extremely difficult to treat and control and can really cause a lot of problems in your life. Most people who develop bipolar disorder actually have their first episode be a depressive episode. But in order to qualify for a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, you have to have an episode of either mania or hypomania. You can also have mixed episodes where you have features of both depression and mania at the same time. So one way that this might present is that you might feel super depressed, have thoughts of suicide, but also feel super anxious and agitated and motivated, and you're getting things done and you're not sleeping and your energy's really high. So I was like, I should answer more questions, but also I should probably use a filter because otherwise people are going to get bored. And then I came across this and I was like, oh my God. So happy Pride, everyone. But I can't even look at myself. So SSRIs target specifically serotonin. So they are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And SNRIs are serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. So they act on different neurotransmitter systems. Both can be really effective for depression and anxiety, but they sometimes have different side effect profiles and can have different indications too. So for example, SNRIs like venlafaxine and duloxetine are going to be used for people with pain syndromes as well, so they can be helpful in chronic pain, and SSRIs not so much. But because of the activity on the noradrenergic system, SNRIs are more likely to cause dizziness, headaches, etc. Another really good question. So bipolar disorder type 1 is characterized by manias, and bipolar disorder type 2 is characterized by hypomanias. Hypomanias, as you would kind of guess by the word hypo in front of mania, are less severe than manic episodes. So that can really look like a myriad of different things, but to give you an example, people with mania sometimes will get delusions of grandiosity, where maybe they think that they're a famous person or some sort of celebrity, or they may think they're a prominent religious figure. So that's an example of a delusion of grandiosity. And someone with hypomania wouldn't necessarily get that severe, but they may still have what we call inflated sense of self-esteem. So they may be more confident in themselves. They may be thinking that they're more attractive than maybe they would normally think, or smarter, or whatever. By definition, someone with hypomania does not need psychiatric hospitalization and does not have psychosis. If they have those features, then we consider it mania.